Greetings, human beings of Earth. Kyle here. Mike, are you there?
I am here,
Oh my
Kyle.
God. With the power of the internet and that fancy thing they call Skype,
It's amazing.
it's amazing. It's pretty damn amazing, I must say. We're sitting here on our virtual couch, floating around in the cloud with the guys from StarTours2Live.com. We got Matt and Henry here. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us on.
Hey guys.
Glad to have you. Um, we're gonna go through a what they call an interview here with these fellows, and they're gonna give us an idea on what we can expect from StarTours2Live.com, and a little overview of what Star Tours 2 will be when it opens shortly here in the coming months in California and in Florida. So, guys, can you give us an overview of what exactly StarTours2Live.com is?
It's a project that touringplans.com and studiocentral.com, our two respective websites, we kind of coordinated on, and it's kind of it's kind of an experiment and a collaboration all in one, because we wanted to work together and do something for a long time. And with Star Tours 2 being announced, we decided this would be a great opportunity to really try out a couple different aspects of design, marketing, a lot of, because Henry and I are very geeky guys. We love to do a lot of stuff online, and we love to innovate. And we thought this would be a great opportunity because it's fun to obviously cover everything that's going on, but we really wanted to push the envelope in terms of what we could really do as a website. And so StarTours2Live.com is an effort to celebrate the launch of Star Tours 2 at Disney's Hollywood Studios and Disneyland, and kind of cover every aspect of it, more so than it's ever been done before, because we've all seen decent coverage of attractions being open, but you have to kind of scavenge here and there for information. And frankly, when you get really close to the opening, information is just so third party and fourth party, and it's so hard to find accurate and good information. So we thought, what if we took not only just the news information coming out there, but also provided live coverage of everything going on at Star Tours? And it kind of just was this kind of brainchild idea that was brought forth, and we've basically trying to give our visitors an opportunity to know every single thing that's happening at Star Tours 2. So that way, if they happen to be in Disneyland or Disney World for when the attraction opens or is slated to open, they'll know that it's open, and they'll know all the details they'll need to be able to ride it.
All right, guys. So I have to ask, can you give our fans, myself, a quick history lesson on the Star Tours attraction?
Sure. Star Tours was an idea. I mean, George Lucas in the mid '80s, wanted to branch out and have a Star Tours ride somewhere. And George Lucas has been a huge Disney fan for many years. He was someone who really loved being. And he obviously lives in Southern California. Southern California, Henry?
SoCal actually is the official definition, official word.
He lives in California, and he likes going. He went to Disneyland a lot. He still goes to this day. He loves going there with his daughter. Anyway, so he met with Michael Eisner at the time, who's the CEO of Disney. And Eisner had experience working with Lucas, because Eisner used to be the CEO at Paramount before he came to Disney. And they kind of collaborated on an idea, and really Lucas said that Disney was really the only company he would really trust his product to, because he knew the quality that went into the attraction. So they began planning a Star Tours ride, and the first one opened in Disneyland in 1987, and the copy opened up in Disney MGM Studios in 1990. And those rides were operating up until September of 2009, 2010, right? 10? Yeah, they announced it in 09. Right, never mind. Then they decided, because for years it had been rumored. If you Google Star Tours 2 rumors, I mean, you'll find like old stuff going back probably about 10 years or so. And they decided to update the attraction and give it the due that it's needed.
How are you guys covering the launch of Star Tours 2? I mean, are you able to get to the parks on a regular basis yourselves, or are you utilizing more kind of like how they say now, a crowdsourced method where you're getting material that's submitted to you from contributors on a regular basis? How what are you guys using?
Matt does live in Orlando. Studio Central is a site dedicated to Disney's Hollywood Studios, and he does a weekly update on Sundays, including photos and stuff like that. But what we bring to the table, Touring Plans, is we are the research arm of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, which is the #1 selling travel guidebook in the world. And we are really comfortable at two things. One is doing research, meaning sending people on the ground to collect wait times and schedules and menus and all these other things, writing rides, writing buses for days on end. And so we have a lot of hardcore locals who help us out. We also are really good at technology, or at least we say we are. But in terms of research, we're trying to sort of combine those two things. We are going to do a little bit of crowdsourcing, but we do have not only Matt, but a huge team of local Orlando researchers as well as Anaheim researchers that we're putting together to cover the attractions properly. I myself live in Northern California, but I will be down in Orlando for the 2 weeks leading up to the Star Tours launch in Orlando, which is on May 20th, as well as then I fly to Disneyland to cover the Star Tours in Disneyland, which opens on June 3rd. So it's a tough job, but someone has to do it.
It's a fun opportunity for us to try a lot of different things, like I mentioned before, because this is not just it's kind of challenging us in terms of a lot of things we've picked up over the years of learning in terms of web development, social media, engineering, and everything in between, and really putting all of our tricks in one basket and kind of seeing where it's going to bring us. It's a good experiment. I mean, for all we know, this will be an awful failure. It'll blow up in our faces. We'll never want to do it again. But we're hoping that's not the case. We're hoping this is really going to be a lot of fun, and we're hoping that people are going to really see this and be like, wow, this is something really cool, because again, this is something we've never seen before. So we're hoping that that's going to get people interested in this more so than just anything else they may have seen, and kind of get them engaged in it as well, because we want this to be, not like Henry said, I mean, there's going to be a crowdsourcing element to it. It's going to be more than just us running it. We want to make this an interactive experience as much as possible. So we're really excited for what's going to be coming.
And if we fail, we're at least try to fail with style.
All right, so gentlemen, I know, September of 2010, they closed the Star Tours in preparation for the renovations. How long has Star Tours 2 Live been in the works?
Henry was down in Walt Disney World for a visit with one of our developers, Scott Barrett, and we were talking about some stuff. This was in February, Henry?
Yeah, early February.
And we were having lunch at the studios, of course. We're having lunch there, and we kind of started talking about some ideas, and Henry had some ideas, and I had some ideas of what we were doing, and we kind of decided, wouldn't it be cool to kind of collaborate on something celebrating Star Tours 2, and we kind of, said, well, let's, we shot some ideas out there, some of which are actually in the site, some of which didn't make it, but we kind of basically, it was kind of a very, what's the word? It was a brainstorming session, but it was a very casual brainstorming session, and then we got to about late February and early March, and we said, let's really do this, let's go for it. And so by early March, we had the, we bought the domain, and we started getting things ready, and the site launched on April 4th, right? This last Monday, depending on when you're listening to the show.
So, guys, what exactly was your inspiration behind creating StarTours2Live.com?
I think the basic thing, I mean, sort of Matt went over this, is when an attraction opens in Disney, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? They don't build $100 million attractions, every week, right? So if you look at the last big openings, which were Toy Story Mania in 2008, Everest in 2005, Soarin' in 2005, maybe Everest is 2006.
2006.
And when was Mission Space? It's a little bit earlier.
03, I think.
Yeah, so those are the big attractions that they built in Disney World, and they're obviously a big deal. They do a ton of press events, and every mainstream local press, all the way up to sometimes even the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, go down and they look at the ride and they write an article about it. And there's this huge burgeoning unofficial Disney fan community out there, just like there is for Star Wars and stuff like that follows it as well. And does articles, does video. There's a race to see who could post the first photos and the first video. And Hochberg's been doing a lot of news, Studio Central touring plans. We don't really do news. We more try to build tools that'll help have better trips to Disney World and Disneyland. So the inspiration was basically, can we combine our respective talents of news and also research and technology to really cover the event like no one else could? Build a dedicated site just for this event, which we've done. And we think the site looks great thanks to our designer, Rustin Jessen. And we've built these apps that we'll talk about. We have a lot more coming that we can't really mention right now. But basically, we're going to try to do way more than an article, a video, and some photos. We're going to try to cover it from now until, the attraction really gets going, even a few months after the attraction opens, and really not only provide tools so that if you want to go see it, you have tips and hints about how to get there, how to avoid lines, what to expect. But also, if you are a fanboy and you want to, be excited about it, you can check out the site daily as well, because we're going to be, hounding it for news.
with Disney, they like to, when the attraction, like for Star Tours, for instance, is set to open May 20th. In a perfect world, no one would know anything about it until May 20th. If it was up to them, they wouldn't even announce it. They would just have it on May 20th, like, hey, look what we got. They love to keep everything a secret to the point of that everything leading up to the launch is so ambiguous, and people, it's fine for like Joe Smith from, Kansas, who wants to come visits Walt Disney World once every 5 years, right? Because they don't even know that it was probably closed to begin with. But there's such an ardent community out there that's so passionate to see everything. And so what typically happens, like with those attractions that Henry mentioned earlier, was that leading up to the opening, there's no information out there at all. Disney will not say anything. They just say, well, it's going to open on May 20th. And we all know from past experiences that there will be soft openings. There will be ride previews. There will be, cast previews, annual pass previews, unannounced openings. But the thing is, Disney will never A, acknowledge it, or B, announce them. So to kind of fill this void, that's part of what we wanted to do, was not only just, like Henry said, just post a couple pictures and videos. We wanted to really be a hub of information for everyone who's trying to get everything they can know about this attraction, because when something's new like this, people can't get enough of it. People love it, and rightfully so. It's it's exciting, it's something new, it's something different, and we're just hoping that we can provide a service to people.
Unlike any other fan site that I've seen that's dedicated to a single theme park attraction, you guys have stepped it up and actually created a dedicated Star Tours 2 wait time app. Can you give us kind of an overview of how that works and what service you're looking to provide with that app?
Yeah, so touringplans.com has a wait times app for Disneyland and Disney World, which you definitely should check out if you're heading to either place. It has wait times for every attraction, and our key distinguishing thing is that we use a lot of statistical data that we've collected over the past 5 to 10 years, and we actually project wait times into the future. So instead of most apps just sort of repeat what users submit, so it is a big crowdsourcing thing, well, we have the whole crowdsourcing thing plus this whole statistical bent that we can actually say, when will the fast passes be gone for Toy Story Mania today? When will what wait times will Splash Mountain be like at 5 p.m. later this day? So that's sort of where we come from. So we decided to do Star Tours wait times. We're going to make them free. We created apps for Walt Disney World and Disneyland, both for iPhone and Android. It's, definitely if we make it free, a lot of people will download it and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. But the real thing that we think got us excited, and we're big nerds, so what we wanted to do that we think would distinguish it from any other app is actually using push notifications. Meaning, if you're familiar with iPhone and Android, you can have these things called push notifications that will actually notify you on your phone when certain events happen from a specific app. And so what we thought would be really useful is if you're just touring the parks, right? You have no idea when the soft openings are going to happen, especially leading up the weeks before the attraction opens. And the only way to do it is just to constantly check your phone, right? Or actually constantly walk over there. Well, we're going to do two things. One, you can just constantly check your phone to see when it goes up or down, because we'll be displaying that inside the app. But we're going to go a step further and actually have our researchers who are going to sit outside in front of the attraction from park opening to park closing. We'll send a push notification to everyone who has the app on iPhone or Android to say, hey, this attraction is open, or hey, this attraction is closed. And that should give you great touring help if you're in Hollywood Studios. You might even be able to be in another park and get this push notification saying, hey, come now, it's open. We don't know how long it's going to be open. And maybe you can rush over and see it, especially if you're not going to be there, you're not going to be vacationing there when it's officially open. So we think that's like a really cool feature. That's something that we would want personally. So we're hoping it sort of gels with other people as well.
So, guys, the concept of crowdsourced material, you've mentioned it a couple of times. What are some of the ways that fans can interact with you guys? I know you utilize Twitter and Facebook. Any other social media platforms?
Other social media platforms. I mean, we do use Facebook and Twitter a lot. We're trying to build up our followers on there. And we also do offer comments on the site. We're currently thinking about doing some other fun crowdsourced stuff. What can I say? We are doing Flickr as well. We created a Flickr pool and got a bunch of our we have a bunch of friends in sort of the Disney amateur photography space, which is awesome that it exists, by the way, to sort of submit photos into our group pool. And so we'll be submitting photos and stuff like that. We also have a news and rumors section on the site so that you can submit a tip if you've heard of it. I don't know. What do you think, Hotchberg? What could we do with social media that would knock people's socks off?
Well, we're going to be setting up a meetup for the opening. We're going to be using your good friends of yours over there at plancast.com. How would you describe that site, Henry? It's a social. It's like
a social event site to help you figure out what's sort of going on in your local area. And that's actually been working with lots of Disney events before and meetups. So we'll definitely be throwing this night before, like camp out style sort of meetup that we're going to be releasing details for soon.